Horror games made their debut in the mid-90s and continued into the mid-2000s by expanding into popular horror films. We saw installments of Silent Hill and Resident Evil bring more attention to the horror genre, allowing fans of the movie to explore the worlds created in the video games and vice versa. However, with the release of many games such as Dead Space, we saw a new age ushered in of games that played on the psychological aspect of horror as much as it did on the blood and gore. Games that tend to do both in a balanced fashion tend to be regarded as better and more worthy horror games. An excellent example of this would be Outlast. While the gameplay is eerie and edgy, the story and its events have an equally important function in creating its horror stance as a game. These games rely on the anticipation of a game-changing event as much as they do on the event itself. Players don't even need to be directly in control to reach high levels of fear. A good horror game will take the tension set by the narrative and use it against the player. These are all aspects of good games, but today I wanted to focus and discuss why many indie developers tend to create horror games as often as they do. While some developers have had tremendous success in developing the games in this genre, others have, not gotten far. As horror games have progressed from a small niche into a full-blown genre, it has inevitably gained some hallmarks to define itself. Horror games are typically edgy, unpredictable, and fear-inducing. Lesser developers look at games such as Detention for its simplicity and misinterpret what makes it actually scary. They believe it's scary because it's dark or because there is someone chasing you, when in reality these are just tools used by a storyteller to further the plot. They all have a purpose beyond simply scaring you. The indie horror starter pack can be defined as having a dark and haunted environment, unmastered audio so everything is just blasting in your ears too loud, and most importantly, jump scares. So many jump scares. Not to say better games disregard jump scares completely, they just aren't reliant on them. And last but not least, horrible indie games will always have a plot loophole, so there is no explanation for the ongoing situation. Something like you've lost your memory or you don't remember why you came here. Good games like Amnesia use this concept as a tool for the atmosphere, leaving the player just as naive as the character. It's very blatantly different and obvious when developers use it as an excuse to not construct the synopsis properly, because the rest of the world isn't fleshed out either. Let's go back and take a look at Outlast, a horror game that I personally enjoyed playing. Outlast has an interesting mechanic. The main character, a reporter, decides to investigate a mental asylum, and in order to do so he brings a camera. The game is played through mostly from the perspective of the camera and is used for night vision and zooming in and out. To continue the use of the camera, you have to seek out batteries littered around the asylum or risk being stranded in the dark with minimal light. Not only is this a great feature, it's a feature that makes sense. The main character is a reporter wants to document something, so he brings a camera. Why then do some horror games just use a camera overlay for the HUD when it has zero bearing on the plot? It just screams of unoriginality. With the advent of Steam Greenlight and other popular websites that promote games in production, some simple horror games have inevitably become popular. Simple games such as Slender the 8 Pages have gained downloads thanks to promotion from popular YouTubers. While simple, the game is still good. Escaping isn't just find an exit. Escaping is collecting all 8 pages as the Slender Man gets closer and closer, leading to your eventual demise. Too many indie games just plop you into a barren world and just ask you to escape or find the exit. There isn't any tension or thrill. Not to mention, Slender the 8 Pages is free. They aren't asking you to spend any money on it. Whereas most of these faux horror games will asset flip and demand you cash out a few dollars so they run a profit. Why not create a good horror game? Why not create something unique or new? While I can't answer these questions for them, what I can do is extrapolate based on other good games. My reasoning for these horrible games are because lesser developers think it takes too much effort to be original, and creating an unpolished asset flip is easier if you misunderstand what makes a good horror game. If more developers dedicated more time to studying what makes a good horror game instead of copying certain aspects of already popular games, more people would actually want to buy them. If you watched this video all the way to the end, please leave a like so I know that you guys like this video. If you guys want to see more content just like this, please subscribe. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.